Hello, Mount Si Senior Center community. My name is Lisa Rizak, and I am thrilled to be your host for Mount Si Senior Center's Spring into Action Week of Giving. You may have already seen me during last night's virtual happy hour. Thank you to those that attended. I hope you learned everything you need to know to participate this week and had a good time chatting and catching up with friends. For those who are unable to make it, I'm thrilled you're able to join us now during the Week of Giving. Starting today, you will hear from the amazing members, volunteers, staff, and community that make up the Mount Si Senior Center. You will hear heartwarming stories from adults in our community and how the Senior Center has continued to provide much-needed programs and services to adults in the Snoqualmie Valley. We invite you to join us on our website at mountsiseniorcenter.org every day until Friday, May 21st, to check out our daily videos and celebrate all that we accomplished this past year. If you don't already know, our goal is to raise $75,000 for Mount Si Senior Center so we can continue our mission of improving the quality of life for adults age 50 and over in our community. If you're watching this video, wait. That doesn't make any sense. Of course you're watching the video, because you're here watching the video. Anyways, since I have you here, please send the link or forward the email you received to your family, friends, and inner circle, inviting them to join us during the Week of Giving. We need your help to get us to our goal. We simply cannot do this without you. And now, I'm delighted to introduce you to Ann Lloyd, a tenant at Sno-Ridge Apartments, owned by Mount Si Senior Center, and her daughter, Nikki Lloyd.
When I moved from Eastern Washington, I moved in with Nikki, and I lived there for about almost 2.5 years, 2 years, and I was looking for housing on my own. And we lived here over on Meadow Drive, and I just drove around looking for housing, and I saw the sign. And so I came in and talked to the manager, and I waited about 1.5 years.
My mom moved over and lived with my son who was, Izzy was four, and he's now 12. And she'd worked for, 15 years 19 years in daycare in a little in-home child care center, and there wasn't any retirement. And so when she retired, finally, she moved up here and moved in with us, which was awesome because she and my now 12-year-old are really close. He loves his Abby, is what he calls her. And so it was great to have her with us. Like, she would walk him to the bus to go to preschool with his little buddy, and that was all good. But she wanted, some more independence. I mean, we'd lived apart since I was in college. And, that's really fun when you merge those generations together. There's a lot of...
Fun is an interesting word for it.
Fun is an interesting word. But we were looking for housing for her, and affordable housing around here is basically non-existent.
The benefits of living here was I lived in Eastern Washington for 20 years, and both of my children grew up there, and I was divorced and I was living by myself. And that was fine. I don't mind living by myself, but I was in a 3-bedroom house and my family was here. I mean, she was a single mom, and I wanted to get to know my grandson. At the time, that was my only grandchild. And so we talked about it, and I decided I really wanted to live over here, and that was the advantage. And I love this side of the mountains. I like the greenery over here, and I had lived in Seattle before I went to Eastern Washington, so it was familiar to me, and I love the weather, even if it rains a lot, because I like it, and I like the snow.
Well, I think one of the things that surprised us when you moved over here was it was also actually really isolating. So she got to know Izzy, more, she knew him already, but formed a really strong bond with a 4-year-old, which is cool. But Sno-Ridge really helped. I mean, it expanded all of your friendship circles and your community, and really connected you to so many other things.
Yeah, I was thinking more on the line of when I moved to North Bend, but right, moving into the apartments was probably the best decision I've made since I've been here, because it's right, it is a community in itself. And I have made some great friends. There is this little group of women that we have joined, and we do things together, and it's just been, obviously in the apartment building that has 49 apartments or 40 apartments. They're all different personalities and not everyone gets along. But basically, we come together. We have potlucks. Before pandemic, we'd have potlucks, we'd have barbecues. And there is a patio that we can all go out and sit and just chat. Something I wish people knew was it's considered HUD housing. And HUD housing in my day has always had a bad rep. It's always been, oh, they live in HUD housing, it must be dirty, it's not well maintained, you know, a lot of things go on there. And that's not true about Sno-Ridge. It is well maintained, it is clean. We now have a new manager and a new maintenance man who lives on site. And he is just right there. We just turn in our work order and he shows up at our door. And I have to admit, when I heard it was HUD housing, I thought, oh, just from my history. And then when I came and looked at it and met the manager at the time and did a tour, it was, okay, this is perfect. And it really is.
She has a beautiful view of the Cascades. The garden out back is maintained by residents as well as, do you have like yard people who come
Yes.
and maintain it
Always.
too? But they can plant flowers or they can weed. I know you have, like, one of your neighbors would weed all the time. It's just something that she loved to do. When she sold her house, she wanted to continue doing it. But yeah, I think the connection to the community too. And I know I've talked a lot about this, but you guys get little like treat baskets brought to your door.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the director. I mean, Susan does that herself with her son.
It's so sweet, and we always talk about it. Every single apartment has something delivered on their doorknob for any holiday, everything.
Yeah.
And I wasn't here for Christmas, but when I came home, my neighbors had put all mine in my apartment, and it's just a treat.
I just feel like there are so many details in all of these things, and I really hope the community knows just how much Mount Si Senior Center cares